So I think the reason I find Die Hard to be so off-putting to me in comparison to other action movies is not just that it's like conservative in nature, because most action movies are, but I think a lot of action movies are kind of straightforwardly authoritarian or sorts. It's often the case. You think about, and like a lot of other action 80s movies from the time period or from the preceding time period, or rather overtly so. I mean, Cold War type stuff. You look at a movie like Commando. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Commando. Now there's an action movie. It's a good one. Undoubtedly a conservative movie. Undoubtedly. But just in a, like pro-America, pro-government type of way. It's pretty explicit about it. There's not really a lot of nuance to it. Hey, come over here to me in the second secret part of this video that's in the middle of the other video. I just wanted to tell you that if you do watch Commando, and it's like a fun movie, you should watch it with your friends and play a drinking game. Before the movie, pick one of these two things. Either Arnold Schwarzenegger gets into a vehicle or a vehicle is destroyed. A vehicle that Arnold Schwarzenegger is in is destroyed, I should say, not just other ones. I'm actually not really sure about this. So basically just, but I think I'd go with the first one. Arnold Schwarzenegger gets in a vehicle, okay? And then every time that happens, take a drink. Just a drinking game of Commando where every time Arnold Schwarzenegger gets into a vehicle, take a drink. Or alternately, every time a vehicle is destroyed. Good time. He does it so much. Pretty much the whole movie is him getting into a vehicle, the vehicle gets destroyed, and then he gets into a different vehicle. That's Commando. Anyway, the sort of central plot of Commando is that Arnold Schwarzenegger is a commando with the American military who's like framed or something, and he has to like fight a bunch of like evil foreigners, and then once he kills them all, the day is won. Now, Die Hard, a little bit different. Die Hard, there's some similarities. Bruce Willis does have to fight a bunch of evil foreigners, so it's all part of it, right? But the thing with Die Hard is that it's not just, the central premise. So, okay, the central premise of conservatism is that you are in the walled gates of civilization, and there are evil masses that are just at the gates that are baying out there, doing everything they can to break through. And it is really just through the safeguard, the walls of society, and the people manning those walls with guns on top of them that keep you, a normal citizen who enjoys society, from having it taken away from you, because good things in life are zero sum. So if you are to be comfortable, to be happy, to be safe, this requires other people to not be so, and also for you to actively guard against it being taken from you, because all the people who are outside, hardly even people really, everybody who is outside this wall gates, all they want is to take it from you. It's the central premise. This is true in Commando, but this is true in Die Hard as well. And the thing I find with Die Hard that kind of contrasts it with other action movies, which sort of simply relay the premise and then sort of expect you to do the work, is that Die Hard takes it on a more individualistic tone and says, look, it's not just that there's people baying at the gates of civilization. We all know that. The issue is primarily complacency from the people in our institutions who aren't doing enough to guard the gates. So, you watch Police Story or whatever. It's Police Story, right? I mean, obviously going to be a conservative movie of sorts. I'm doing laundry, by the way, if you're curious why I'm walking back and forth this whole video. Okay. Police Story or whatever, also conservative in its nature. It's pro-police, as evidenced by it being a police story. And they deal a little bit with complacency as well. But primarily the villains are bad guys who they catch. And the system is all cool with this. But in Die Hard, the system is the problem. The pencil pushers, the bureaucracy, the people who won't help John McClane, the main character of Die Hard. Not to brag, but I am familiar with the character in addition to the themes. It's the things that prevent John McClane from getting the job done. And also the other character, I just bragged about being familiar with the characters in Die Hard, and I cannot remember the secondary main character, the guy who is afraid to shoot his gun because he shot a child before, and then he worked a desk job because he like didn't trust himself to use a weapon, and the force didn't want him to use it either. And like the secondary plot of the movie is this guy getting, back in his mojo, getting the groove to go blasting again, because that's what the world needs. The world needs cops like him and John McClane to be able to fire their guns at baddies. Now, John McClane doesn't have a problem firing his guns with baddies. He's the only sane man in America, and he knows what has to be done. He understands that there's people banging at the gates, but the problem, once again, is that the rest of the police institution, they're too caught up in their bureaucracy, they're too scared to do anything, they don't understand the real threat that's out there. So this is, to me, the thing I find unpleasantly reactionary specifically about Die Hard, is that it is a hard cut. Sorry about that. I started just like meandering off at the end there, not really getting to the point. So here's the point. Most conservative movies, like Commando, as my example from before, authoritarian action movies, which, again, action movies kind of need to be, for their central premise to work, to watch some guy kill a bunch of guys, you need to believe they're evil. And that it's all for good. So, and that one like person killing everybody is like the solution, right? Like they tend towards this authoritarian take to begin with, because that's your, strong man, your sheriff, right? But in a movie like Commando, their perspective is, we have a good thing in society. This is good. America is good. America has enemies. Let's go kill them. Bam, bam, bam. That's Commando. Die Hard is specifically reactionary because it's not just saying, hey, let's go kill our enemies. Die Hard is saying, we need to get back in the mood of killing our enemies. We've lost our way. We've got too squeamish about shooting our gun. We need to work up the courage to start firing our gun again. And the idea here is not just, oh, we have enemies, let's shoot them, shooting them is good. It's that we used to shoot them, and now we've become so concerned with stopping people like John McClane or the other guy from shooting our enemies. We've misidentified the problem. Basically, it's a movie that's not just targeting. Like, I don't know. I think I've made the point at this point, right? It's basically like, it's specifically reactionary because we need to go back into a prior time where we were more comfortable with authoritarianism, as opposed to just reveling in authoritarianism. Okay, that's it.